Que hubo, como decimos en Colombia. This is Jen Hempel. I'm excited that you are here and you are in for a treat in this video. I'm sure you've been in a situation or a financial situation where you have this problem that you're stuck and you see absolutely no way out, right? We've all been there at a time or two. And when this happens, you get frustrated, overwhelmed, and stressed. It's not a fun spot to be in. I personally have been in that spot before where we were stuck in this vicious cycle where we would save, and then we found ourselves depleting that savings, those emergency funds. And what was interesting that when we found ourselves in that situation where we had to deplete on our emergency funds, it wasn't always an emergency. Growing up in Colombia for a good part of my childhood, I really saw and witnessed a lot of what a lack of money did. It caused a lot of stress, caused a lot of overwhelm. So I really was determined when I was an adult that I wasn't going to be in that place. So that's why the saving mentality came to be. Imagine my internal dilemma where I was really good at savings, but then something would happen in our lives and all of a sudden we would be using that savings up. That was a terrible feeling, especially when you work so hard to save, but then only to use it up. Not fun. For a long time, I didn't know what we were doing wrong. After all, I had followed the experts' advice, the financial experts' advice to a T. One thing that I learned is that there is always a solution to everything. No matter what it is, no matter how challenging it is, there's always a solution. Sometimes that solution may not be one that we like, but it is a solution nonetheless. Unfortunately, what holds us back into finding a solution is what goes on right in here. So when you have thoughts and emotions that continue to appear that don't serve you, it's going to hold us back. You probably have heard that quote from Henry Ford that says something like, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. That's pretty powerful, right? Think back to the time where you had a financial challenge. What thoughts came to mind? Were they serving you? Chances are they weren't very positive thoughts. There were thoughts of overwhelm. There were thoughts that involved stress. There were thoughts of anxiety. There were thoughts of, oh, I'm never going to get out of this, right? There are many ways you can change those thoughts. And my favorite way to do it is to catch those thoughts when they come. So you have to be very aware of what's going on in between here. And I really like to be able to catch those thoughts and change into a question. So for example, if I have a thought that comes, because I still have to work on this all the time, it's a work in progress, right? But if I have a thought that comes to mind that says, we can't afford this, and I quickly catch it because I am very aware of those thoughts, and I change into a question. So instead of thinking, we can't afford this, I ask, how can we make this happen? And before you know it, there's a solution to it. Granted, it might not be the solution that you want, but it's a solution nonetheless. Why is this important to catch and be aware of those thoughts and change those thoughts or shift those thoughts? Because the longer those thoughts linger, the longer it takes for you to reach those financial goals. Doesn't mean you won't get there, but it's going to be a slower process. In the Her Dinero Matters podcast, episode 25, I invited Sarai Espinosa, where she shares with us a big roadblock she encountered as she was about to graduate high school and what exactly she did about it. It's an inspiring story. I encourage you to listen to it. Thanks so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Also, check out the podcast, the Her Dinero Matters podcast. And while you're at it, subscribe to the podcast as well. And if you really enjoyed this video, come back again every Tuesday as I will be releasing a weekly video. Thank you so much for joining me y nos hablaremos luego. Ciao.